Hello, board gamers, and welcome. I am going to attempt today to do a full epic solo playthrough of Forge War. And I'm doing it using my computer, not using the actual board game pieces, which I own. They're all downstairs. But when I play solo, I like if you've seen any of my previous solo playthroughs, you know that I like to program large parts of the game that I'm playing. It makes it easier. I don't. The setup goes faster. The game plays quicker. I can play more and set up less. Less fiddliness for me. So and I know how to do it, and I just enjoy doing it. So that's what I do. For traditional board gamers, I'm sure that's blasphemous, but I'm not telling you to play it that way. That's just the way I do it, and it's going to make it easier for me to demonstrate how the game plays. This is sort of like watching the game being played in a vassal module, if you will. So I don't claim that my program is especially pretty, but it gets the job done, and you'll certainly be able to follow along and see. You'll come away with a real sense of how the game plays, how it looks, how it works, that sort of thing. I guess not so much how it looks, but how it works and how it plays. And that's really the intent of this video. It's not intended to be a tutorial, although I will basically summarize what I'm doing, what the general rules are at each stage of the game, and so that you're not totally, so that for newcomers, you're not totally lost. This is so that you can have a sense as to whether or not this is really a game for you. And especially from a solo gamer's perspective. I personally think this game is fantastic as a solo game. In fact, I rank it way up there, right up there with Mage Knight board game, which is arguably considered probably the best. I actually think Forge War beats it, but that's going to vary from one person to the next. The point is, if you're a solo board gamer, you should look very closely at this game and add it to your library. I think Isaac Childres has just done a magnificent job, especially considering that this is his first time, his first design. In any event, let's see. I am going to go very easy on myself today. I am not going to be making difficult choices. I don't want to end up crashing and burning. I would like to play the whole game from start to finish and win. I'm not aiming for a high score by any stretch. In fact, all my scores to date for playing solo have been pretty awful. I don't know if they're awful, but they're in the low end, like 300, I think my high score is 335. And the rules say that if you can achieve a score of 600, that's, I guess, considered excellent. Obviously, I'm not there yet, and I'm not even sure I'll ever get there. But I just enjoy playing this game solo. Let's see. I don't think there's anything much more to be said. I have set up the quest deck so that it's an easy quest deck. And again, I'll reaffirm that all my choices are going to be the easy peasy choices to make this game go as smoothly and easily for me as possible. So don't expect any great brilliant strategy on my part. Like I said, I'm still a beginner as far as this game is concerned. Though I should say I owe a debt of gratitude and thanks to everybody on Board Game Geek in the Forge War forum who have made contributions as to tricks and strategies and different things you can do to help the solo game not crash and burn so often. And so to all of those people who've provided insights of that nature, thank you very much, because it's certainly gotten my game off the ground. I will be using bonus tiles today, and I'll describe that I'll describe that right away as well. So let's just get underway. Okay, here we go. So let's start by looking down here in the corner. These are the bonus tiles and these are going to work just like bonus tiles in any typical board game you might play. Every 3 rounds, if you meet a certain condition, you're going to get a little bonus. Now here, if as of the beginning of round 4, if I have exactly 1 active quest as of the start of that round, I'm immediately going to gain 1 level 1 adventurer. And I'll explain what all that is if you're not familiar with the game. But I'm happy with that choice because I can guarantee you that I'm going to have 1 active quest as of the end of the first 3 rounds. There are other bonuses that'll come into play every 3 rounds after that. We'll worry about those when the time comes. But for now, all I have to worry about is shooting to have 1 active quest open as of the start of the 4th round. Let's go over here to the left-hand side so I can give you a summary of what this panel shows. I think it's pretty self-explanatory. Here's my score. Here's my gold. Gold is really tight in this game, especially early on, and so you're going to be seeing me do everything I possibly can to scrape together as much gold as I possibly can. How much I have in the various resources in the game, how many adventurers I have, and how many of them are available to me versus how many are on quests. The solo rules say that if you are playing a solo game with the bonus tiles, you start with 4 adventurers. If you are playing a solo game without the bonus tiles, you start with 5. So that's why I'm starting with 4. And as I apply my adventurers to quests and adventures of a sort, and they go off on those quests, then this number on the left-hand side is going to fall. So when this says 0-4, it basically means all my adventurers are out on quests, and none of them are home, so I have none available to me to assign to current quests. As a result, I'm never going to let that number fall to 0. There are 4 levels of adventurers. All adventurers start as level 1, and once they get up, and their level dictates just how much of a weapon they can hold for the most part. So level 1 adventurers can only hold very rudimentary weapons, while level 3 and level 4 can hold any kind of weapon you throw at them. You really want to try to get your adventurers up, as many adventurers as possible. I'm going to try to shoot to get all my adventurers up to level 4, because once they achieve that status, they're considered a champion and they get a special ability. And it's those abilities that's going to make this game sink or float. So you're going to see me try to get at least 1 adventurer up to level 4 as quickly as I possibly can. Down here are my weapon designs. Now, these are not weapons I actually own. They're just designs, like architectural plans. So that if I bring up the copper dagger here, this is a level 1 weapon design. It can be wielded by any type of adventurer from level 1 up. And if I actually forge this weapon using 1 copper, then I can give it to an adventurer who can wield it and add a certain amount of power or strength to the adventure. In this case, this is a power 1 type weapon, as opposed to copper sword, which is power 2. It requires 2 copper to forge. These are the 2 starting weapons that every player gets, whether you're playing solo or multiplayer. Clearly the key is to add to this collection of weapon designs so you have more choices available to you. Okay, what we're looking at right now is starting wealth. Like many games, you can start off with a certain amount of gold or adventurers or resources or weapons or designs, whatever the case may be. Each player gets a random set of 4 different starting wealth cards, and they get to choose 2 and discard 2. So I know I want as much gold as possible, and basically this says I'm going to start with 5 gold. I'm going to be able to level up an adventurer, which I really like, and I'm going to get a copper. So I'm going to choose that as my first starting wealth card. And as you can see, my copper's gone on up to 1, my gold's up to 5, and now I've got a level 2 adventurer in addition to my 3 level 1 adventurers. Okay, now what do I want next? I can level up again and get him to level 3. I actually really like the sound of that. In fact, I think that's a done deal. Yep, I'm going to go with an additional 2 goals, another adventure, which will bring my count, one more adventure, which will bring my count up to 5, and I'll be able to level one of them up, and I'm probably going to level that level 2 up to level 3. The rules say you can't create a level 4 adventurer as a result of using starting wealth cards. Not a problem. I'll be able to get somebody leveled up to level 4 with a quest pretty quickly. So I'm choosing this card, and now it's asking me to pick which adventure I want to level up. I'm going to level up my level 2 adventure up to level 3. And here we are in the mining phase of stage 1, round 1. The game plays in 6 stages. The game plays in 3 stages. Each stage consists of 6 rounds. And as you move from stage to stage, the game gets more intricate, more complicated. The quests become more involved, and the game just gets harder and harder as you go on. So stage 1, round 1 is about as easy as you get, and we start with a mine full of basic resources. These look like squares, but you can imagine that they're oriented as hexagons. The rules say that you play this phase of a round, and there are 3 major phases to a round. This is the first phase, the mining phase. The rules say that when you're playing a solo game, you treat the mining phase as if you are playing a 3-player game with 2 computer dummy players who are going to go ahead of you. Now, I will explain how this turn order works when you're playing different kinds of games. But for now, let me show you how you play as a solo player, how you place the different pieces for the dummy players, and what the dummy players' rules are in regard to what they do, what actions they take in this particular phase. Each player in this game, if you're unfamiliar with it, each player gets 3 overseers. And each player takes a turn placing an overseer in the mine. And this happens. The placing of overseers happens at the beginning of each stage of the game, beginning of stage 1, 2, and 3. So it's the start of stage 1, and I am just going to place the overseers, and then when I actually get to the next part, which is where we move them, you'll begin to understand why I placed them where I did. So for now, I am going to place, let's see, I'm going to put yellow here and blue here and my overseer there. And then we get another set, so I'll put yellow here and gray there and my blue there. And lastly, I'll put yellow, gray, and blue. Now we're at the point where the overseers need to be moved, and each player is going to get 1 turn to move an overseer, and basically that's it, although there's an exception that'll come into play in several rounds. Now, let's just talk about, let's move the overseers first. So when you move an overseer, you can move an overseer any number of spaces that are empty until you run into another overseer of any color, yours or any other of your opponents, and then you must stop. So, for example, if I was going to move this overseer, it could move as far as here, but then it has to stop. It can go this way and move as far as there, and it has to stop. And obviously, it can't go beyond the edge of the board. So these are all the valid locations as to where this overseer can get moved. Now, when you move an overseer, and I'm going to move this yellow overseer here, and later on in succeeding rounds, you'll see that the actual dummy players have a certain strategy that they have to follow that's dictated in the rules. But at the beginning of a stage, there you can basically just move for them. So that's to your advantage, actually, because when you move an overseer, so I'm going to move yellow here. He leaves behind a worker. And when that worker lands on a space, or gets created in that starting space, it creates a resource for that player. Now, this for a dummy players don't receive resources, but if it was a human player, they'd get, in this case, that human player would get an emerald. Now it's Gray's turn, and I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to take Gray, and maybe I'm going to actually move Gray this way instead. But in any event, it still leaves behind a worker on the iron space. So now we have a yellow worker on the emerald space, a gray worker on the iron space. My overseer is on a copper space. Now, when I move my overseer, it's going to generate a copper for me. Now, I said that overseers can move in straight lines of empty cells, and that's correct. But when they reach a worker, whether it's a worker that's directly in front of them or several spaces down the line, once they reach that worker, they can then jump over that worker and over consecutive workers, and then they have to stop at the first empty space. So in this case, I could move my overseer, jump over this worker, jump over this one, and then I have to stop at the next empty space. In this case, it's at the edge of the board anyway, so I'd have to stop. But if these two workers, for example, were here and here, then my overseer can move to this empty space, then jump, and once they stop, assuming this overseer is not there, once they stop seeing workers, then you've got to stop at the first empty space, even if there are more workers farther down the line. When you jump over workers, they defect to your team. So when I move my overseer to this space, not only will I get a copper worker here, a blue worker here that'll generate a copper, but I'll also get a blue worker here now. This will get converted, and I'll get an emerald, and here I'll get an iron. And now you understand why I placed the overseers in this particular fashion, because it guaranteed that I would get 3 resources to start this round. So I'm going to move my overseer, and it's going to go copper, then emerald, then iron, and then my overseer lands there. Now, there are additional rules, especially when you jump over your own overseers. That'll come into play in the next round. We'll worry about that at that point in time. For now, we are in the in the market phase. That's the next big section of the game down here. And then after the market phase, we'll go into the quest acquisition phase, which happens at the top of the screen. But before I start the market phase, I'm going to look in the quest acquisition phase to get an idea of what kind of a quest I'm going to start off with. And I'll be honest, I don't like my choices. I wish I started off with easier choices, but it's the way it turned out. So let's see. Let me describe what's happening here. So in this particular quest, Slimes in the Sewer, this indicates that in this leg of the quest, the first leg, you have to have power of 2. You must supply adventurers to this quest who are wielding weapons that total up a power of 2 or more. And at least one of the adventurers has to be carrying a mace. There are 2 steps to this leg, so after the round in which you acquire it, it will advance to the next step, and then it will advance to the next step, and you will possibly, once a leg gets completed, you'll possibly receive some intervening rewards. In this case, I'll receive a copper. You can ignore, these are point amounts, but you can ignore the point amounts that are in parentheses. They don't apply in a solo game. In a multiplayer game, it's a consolation prize you win if you fail the quest, let's say, at the next leg. So, for example, if I got to this leg of the quest and then failed it, instead of getting the points I would get if I would succeed at the quest, instead I get a consolation prize of 4 points. And that's what this symbol in parentheses indicates. When you're playing a solo game, if you fail a quest, you lose the game flat out. So you don't want to fail a quest. And in the solo game, each round you have to acquire 1 quest. When you're playing multiplayer, you can acquire at most 1 quest. but you can go and you can skip a phase. You could skip a round and not acquire a quest that round. In solo, you must acquire a quest every round, and you can't ever fail a quest. So I wish I had some simpler quests to start off with. Here I've got a two-step quest that requires a mace and goes up to power level 5. And here, what did I get? Oh, no, I'm sorry. So here is a two-step quest that goes up to power level 5, requires a mace. This is a two-step quest that goes up to power level 6 and requires a spear. Now, as I said before, I'm going to go with the simpler of the two quests. So I'm probably going, when I get to the quest acquisition phase, I'm going to acquire this quest. And I know right now I'm going to need a mace. I don't own a mace or a design for a mace. So in the market phase, I got to make sure I leave the market phase with a mace design in my hand. Now, in the market phase, you've got 6 choices. You can either acquire this card, which is the unique weapon deck. It is specific weapons that are over and above. They're basically far better than the basic weapons that show up in the public weapon designs. This is sort of like a public weapon. These two that I started with, these are other public weapons that are available to me. And this list will grow because these cards are buried within this deck. And as you reveal them, they get moved over here into the public weapon designs. I find that when I'm playing solo, I, by and large, don't need any unique weapons. I can usually get by with the public weapons. They're cheaper. They provide sufficient power for my needs. If I were playing multiplayer, it would be very different. But I think you're going to find that in this game, I'm not going to purchase. I may purchase 1 or 2, but that's going to be it. And it's probably not going to happen until much later in the game. Anyway, that's one of my 6 choices. My second choice is to pick one of these cards. These are market bonus cards, these 2 decks, and these are single-use cards, these 2 decks. And when a player chooses one of these in a 2-player or a solo player game, that's it. You get it. You get that choice, and then all those other choices go away. So you get one choice out of these 4, and then no one else can choose any of those cards. In a 3 or 4-player game, it plays differently, but in a solo game, I can pick one of these cards, and that's it. I can't pick 2. My third choice is to hire a new adventurer for 4 gold and or level up one of my adventurers for 1 to 3 gold, depending upon whether they're a level 1, level 2, or level 3 adventurer currently. My fourth choice is to claim one of these public weapons. And I already said I want to get a mace, so I'm going to be buying this mace soon enough. Another possibility, my 5th choice, is to rush one of my quests. When I have a quest, that'll be clear what I mean by rushing it. And lastly, this last choice, which may be off the screen, I can't tell, you can simply pass and gain 1 gold from the supply. In a 2 or 3 or 4-player game, everybody gets 1 shot, and that's it. It's a worker placement, and you have 1 worker. But when you're playing solo, you get 2 choices. You can either do this, and then that's it. Or you can pick one of these and that's it. Or you can do this and only 1 time. You can do this only 1 time. And then you can rush a quest 2 times, 0 times, 1 time. And you can pass 0 times, 1 time, or 2 times when you're playing the solo game. So for my first choice, I know I want to get a public weapon design. And I want to get that mace because I'm going to need it in order to succeed at that quest, which I'm about to acquire when this market phase is finished. So I am going to choose here, and I'm going to select the mace, and it's going to get added to my list of available weapon designs. These are not weapons that I own. They're designs for weapons. So the copper mace requires 2 copper, just like the copper sword, if you recall. And it also has a power of 2, just like the copper sword. But it also has the mace attribute. And when a quest requires that you have a mace attribute, you've got to have a weapon. One of the adventurers on the quest has to have that weapon in his possession. Not, you don't have to have everybody have one. At least one person has to have it. So I've got the base, and you notice that now that choice has now gone away. So now my second choice, let's see, I've got 5 gold. And Trader Savvy, you may use one of your stalls one extra time. I don't have any stalls yet. Here's a stall, and I think I'm probably going to grab this. This stall allows me once per round to trade 1 emerald for 2 copper or 2 copper for 1 emerald. And while these don't seem that powerful, certainly in a solo game they're mighty powerful. You can't win without them. And as it turns out, I actually have an emerald and 2 copper so far. So this might benefit me early on. So I'm going to grab that as my second choice. It's going to cost me 5 gold. You can ignore the number in green. That's for a different type of game of Forge War. When you're playing the epic game, it's the big numbers that matter. So I'm going to pay 5 gold. My 5 gold's gone, and my market stall card is now down here in this box here. So this is a market stall that allows me to trade emerald to copper or copper to emerald. Okay, back up here at my quests. Clearly I don't want this one because I don't have a spear. I want this one, so I'm going to select this quest. I have to select a quest. And now that takes me to the quest management phase. In the quest management phase, you have to meet the demands of the leg of the quest you're on. Now, right now, I'm on the first leg of the quest. The difficulty of this leg is 2, which means I have to provide power of 2 across as many adventures as I add to this quest. And at least one of the adventurers has to be carrying a mace. When this leg of the quest finishes, then I'll get a copper, and I'll move on to the next leg. When that leg finishes, I'll get a copper and 4 gold and 12 points, and I'll be able to upgrade 2 adventurers on my quest. If I only had 2, those 2 will get upgraded or leveled up. If I had more than 2, I could choose which 2 would be leveled up. You basically can level up a number of adventurers equal to the number of legs of the quest. Okay, so let's start applying some adventures here. Let's attach one of my level 3 adventurers, because my only level 3 adventurer, because I said I want to get that guy leveled up as quickly as possible and make him a champion. So I'm going to add him, and I'm going to give him a weapon. I'm going to give him the mace, because that's what we need. And now the quest has changed from red to green, indicating that I am now passing that leg of the quest. The power requirement was 2. I'm providing a weapon, an adventurer with a weapon that has 2. And I've met the requirements, so I'm good to go. I could not advance to the next phase in a solo game unless this quest was met. If I didn't meet the requirements of the quest, it would fail and I'd lose, and I wouldn't even have to advance to the next round. All right, but I am advancing to the next round, so we're moving on to stage 1, round 2. Now, Gray has just moved, and Gray's overseer was here, and he moved this way, jumped over this worker, and changed its color to gray, and then had to stop at the next empty space. The rules say that when it's a dummy player's turn, they must jump over as many opponent workers as possible and as few of their workers as possible. So the overseer left this gray worker behind, jumped over, what was this, my worker, changed it to gray, and then landed his overseer here, and now it's my turn. In a solo game, the turn order constantly rotates. So I was last in the first round, now I'm in second place in turn order. Next turn, I'll be first place in turn order, and you'll see what benefit that provides me when we come to round 3. For now, it's just another turn, and I just want to remind myself of the bonus tile that's coming up in 2 rounds. If I have exactly 1 active quest as of the start of that round. Okay, well, I'm still hoping that I'm going to be able to achieve that. I thought that bonus tile had to do with workers, but it doesn't. So, Okay, so I'm good for the moment. All right, so what I want to do, what do I want to do? Well, I want to jump over as many opponent workers as possible. If I move this overseer to here, I would get a copper and a copper from this gray overseer, which would convert to blue. But because I was jumping over my own overseers, those would get removed from the game, and those would just be removed from the board, rather. In a multiplayer game, when you jump over your own workers, they actually convert to other players using rules that are indicated in the basic rule book. I don't have to cover that for now, but in a solo game, essentially, if you go over your own workers, they just go away. So if I go this way, I'm going to end up with two coppers, a copper from here and a copper from there. Alternatively, I can move this overseer from here to here, and I would end up on an iron space, so that possibly if I moved it again, I'd get an iron down the road. But in any case, other than that, the move is the same as this move because I would end up with two coppers currently. This overseer could go this way, but it wouldn't. It would only generate one copper because I'd be jumping over my own worker. I guess for some flexibility, let me think. Yeah, for some flexibility, maybe I'll go this way and have this worker end up on an iron space. I'm not sure if it'll help me down the road or not, but I'm going to go there, and that will generate two coppers for me. And now yellow has three choices. He can jump over to my worker here. He can jump over, where was the other choice? He could jump over gray's worker here, or he can move this overseer this way and jump over my worker there. In those cases, my worker would get removed from the board. When there's a tie between overseer moves in a solo game, you basically pick one that is best for you, or basically that's best for you. I think I'm going to go this way because it's going to convert this to a yellow worker, and it will then possibly give this overseer a future move in that it can go this way and jump over that yellow worker and generate a resource. If this goes this way, I mean, that might help me if this yellow overseer went away. And if he jumped over here, that's not going to help me in the near future because I could jump over my own worker, but then I'd have to stop at this space. So I think my best, well, let's see. Yeah, my best move is to go from here to here, not for this overseer's benefit, but for this overseer's benefit. So let's go there. That converts to yellow, and now we move into the market phase for round 2 of stage 1. And I've got some legs have moved over to the cost 1 section of the market acquisition board, but 2 new quests have come in at the 0 cost. And for the time being, I don't want to have to spend gold. Right now, I don't have any gold, so I don't want to have to spend gold on quests. So I'm going to stick to these cost 0 quests. And they're also the easier of these 3 quests. These are the simpler anyway. This one is a very easy one. Rats in the cellar. Respected old woman has been complaining about scratching noises in her cellar. It should be a simple problem to solve. An adventurer needs to start somewhere. This quest also, this one has a power requirement of 3, has 2 steps, and also requires a spear. So of these 2, this one's far simpler. Notice this one provides 5 gold. This one only provides 2 gold. But this is going to be a little trickier for me to succeed at because I'd have to get a spear, and I don't have a lot of gold in my possession, so I probably couldn't afford one, although I could probably find a way to afford it. But I'm going to stick with the simpler of the quests and plan on acquiring rats in the cellar. Very basic quest, about as simple as you can get in this game. So I know I don't have anything special to worry about there. I do want to get this that other guy, that level 3 adventurer. He's going to level up shortly, probably as of the end of this coming round. So let's see. Let's just add. Let's see what we have down here. Buyers. Well, I can't afford these cards, but it's nice to know what's here. Buyer's Savvy. You can buy one extra resource from the merchant each round, and another market stall that converts copper to iron. With no gold in my coffers, there's not a whole lot I can do. I can. The rules do allow you to buy and sell one resource to and from the merchant per round. So I can buy one resource if I had some gold, and I could sell one resource if I had if I had some resources to sell. So I could sell that emerald, but I wouldn't get a lot for it. I'd only get 2 gold. And that's still, it's enough to get this buyer savvy. And it's enough to buy one of these cards. This card would allow me to get another emerald. But that's just that doesn't get me anywhere. I sell an emerald to get 2 gold and then use the 2 gold to buy an emerald back. I basically wasted a move. Here I get an option to move a worker in the mine. I don't know that it's worth it to me to sell my emerald for that. I think, well, oh, I know what I'm going to do. Well, let's see if I can pull this off. This quest is going to have to, it's going to need 2 more rounds before it finishes up. But one thing I can do in the market is rush one of the quests and this is free. And basically that allows me to pick a quest and say I want that quest to advance to the next step for free. Now it's going to, in this particular instance, it's going to require me to add some more workers and some more weapons and power, and it might be a tight squeeze, but I think I should be able to manage. And I want to get this adventurer, this level 3 adventurer, to complete this quest very quickly so I can get that, getting converted into a champion, and that would give me a much more flexibility. So I think that's what I'm going to do first. I'm going to rush that quest. So I'm going to select that. I'm going to rush this quest to the next step. And I got some copper as a result. If you remember, that provided me with 1 copper, so my copper went up to 3. And now for my next choice, I can't choose rush a quest again because you're not allowed to rush a quest past the point at which it would succeed. So the last step of the quest has to succeed on its own, which means once this round finishes. And again, I don't have any gold, so really my only other choice here is to pass and gain a gold from the supply. I think that's what I'm going to end up having to do, so I'll go that route. And now I move up to the quest acquisition phase, and I'm going to take rats in the cellar, as I said earlier that I would. So now I have 2 quests that are currently active. This one's about to finish at the end of this round, but it's currently not being met because its requirement, its difficulty has jumped up from 2 to 5. And this has a very simple difficulty of 1. Now, what are my options here? I can pull this adventurer off and put him back on and give him another weapon, a more powerful weapon, but that doesn't really help me that much. So what I'm going to do is add another adventurer to join him in his quest to rid the sewer of the slimes that are infesting it. So I'm going to add a level 1 adventurer, and I'm going to forge a sword for him. It's going to require 2 copper and will supply an additional 2 power to the quest. So now I'm up to 4 power. I still have 1 more to go, so I have to add 1 more adventurer, even though I'm not going to get anything for that adventurer because, as I said earlier, I'm going to be able to level up 2 adventurers, but no more than 2. So this one's more of a throwaway, but I'm going to add another level 1 adventurer and give him a copper dagger because I only need 1 more power, and this copper dagger is what's going to supply it. And now I'm meeting the requirements of this quest, so it's about to succeed when this round ends. Now I've got to worry about this quest. I've got to add an adventurer. I only have level 1s in my supply. And as you can see, the weapon list is empty because I don't have any weapons here that I can forge with the resources available to me. So what are my choices? Well, my choices are to come over here and make use of this market stall. And I didn't think I'd be using it that soon, but lo and behold, I am. This market stall allows me once per round to convert an emerald to 2 copper or vice versa. So I'm going to use that market stall, convert this emerald into 2 copper, and now I've got some weapons I can forge. I only need 1 power, so the copper dagger is going to be sufficient to get rid of the rats in the cellar. I guess this level 1 adventurer is going to go around with his dagger and stab at them in the corner. They must be slow rats. But that's sufficient power to meet the requirements of this quest. So now when this round ends, both of these quests are going to leave. They're going to be gone. But I'll reap the benefits. Here I'll get a copper and 4 gold and 12 points. And oh, I'm sorry, this one has 2 more rounds to go. So this one will not finish next round. It'll finish the round after next. It'll finish at the end of next round, I should say. Okay, so let's advance to round 3. So the first quest has succeeded, and I earned 1 copper, 4 gold, and 12 points. And now it wants to know, it wants me to level up the 2 adventurers who participated in the quest. Normally my program would automatically level up the adventurers, but in this case, because there are 3 to choose from, I have to choose which 2 I want to level up. So I definitely want to level up one of the level 1s, so it doesn't matter which one. I'm just going to level up that guy. And now I'm going to level up my level 3 so he becomes a champion, a level 4 champion. That allows me to give him a specific ability that only he will have available to him. Once I give him an ability, no other adventurer can have that special ability. Well, I know for a fact that the ability I want to give him is this one, Expeditious. It says that when a player of this type, when I start a quest and apply this champion to that quest, I can start the quest on the 2nd or 3rd step instead of having to start at the beginning. That allows me to get through my quests much faster. And in a solo game, when you're a beginner like me, you want to get those quests over and done with as quickly as possible. So I'm going to make this guy a level 4 champion with the Expeditious special ability, so that when I apply him on future quests, I'll be able to get those quests completed more quickly. Okay, so now you see over here, there's my Expeditious champion. The plus sign simply indicates he's available for me to use. Same indication here that I have the 1 level 4 adventure in my supply, and I'm only short 1 level 1 adventurer because the other one is out on that quest regarding the rats in the cellar. All right, now we're at stage 1, round 3, back in the mining phase. Okay, we're in stage 1, round 3. I believe I might have been cutting off the bottom of my screen earlier. If I was, I fixed that problem. So now you can see I am in stage 1, round 3. And let's see what my options are. So this overseer can jump over my own worker and end up here. That only gets me an iron. This overseer can go all the way over here, but it only generates 1 copper. All these overseers of my color are going to just go away. But here's my move. This overseer is going to go this way, leave a worker behind here, and jump over that worker and convert it into copper. So that move is going to generate 2 copper for me. And what's going to happen next is that's going to leave behind a worker here, so that yellow will then probably have a choice of either going this way and jumping over my worker, or going this way and jumping over gray's worker. Now, I'm first in turn order here, and that means that when you're first in turn order, after you go and then the next player, and so forth, you then have the option of going a second time, of moving an overseer a second time. In a multiplayer game, doing so, taking that option, forces you into last place in turn order. Otherwise, turn order is determined by the number of workers that are on the board of each player. The fewer the workers, the higher the place in turn order. In a one-player game, in a solo player game, as I said, this turn order simply rotates. So I'm going to be in last place in turn order no matter what next turn. So it would behoove me to take that option, to take that second overseer movement when my turn comes up again. So I'll be sure to be doing that when that happens. For now, I am going to move this overseer to here and generate 2 copper for me. 1 here and 1 there. Now it's yellow's turn, and as predicted, yellow has 2 choices, either going this way or going that way. It's up to me to decide which way he's going to go, and jumping over this worker has no real immediate benefit to me. Jumping over this one could potentially offer a benefit. Well, actually, yeah, could potentially offer a benefit down the road if this worker got farther into the center of the board. So I think I'm just going to have yellow go this way. And now gray can either, gray has jumped over my blue worker here. He couldn't go this way, and he was in the corner, and this had no option to jump. So that was gray's only move, going that way. And now it's my turn again. My option to take that second overseer movement, and going here generates 1 copper, but going this way generates an iron and a copper, because now I'm jumping over gray's piece again. And this guy, no, this guy would also generate 2 copper. So this is a 2 copper move. This is an iron copper move. I think I will probably go with the copper and the iron to give myself a little more flexibility. So I'm going to take that move. Okay. And now we're back in the market phase, and I'm going to look ahead in the quest acquisition phase just to see what I plan to get down the road. And it looks like of the quests that are available to me, this one's going to be the easiest one to go for. So that's probably where I'm going to be aiming. In the meantime, I've got 5 gold that I earned from completing that quest at the end of last round. So let's see, Adventure Savvy. I don't think I need this because my Expeditious Adventurer basically has an equal version of this skill, if not a better version of this skill, because my Expeditious Adventurer can advance to the 3rd step of a quest when he embarks on that quest. This Seller Savvy could be valuable because it means that when I sell a resource to the merchant, instead of selling it at these prices, I'll sell it 1 gold higher. And you can accumulate those. So the more Seller Savvies you own, the higher the price goes, the higher the selling price goes. So if you sell a lot of resources, these come in very handy. Otherwise, I can move an Overseer in the mine, and I don't think I have any brilliant moves here. I really don't that have anything, so that's probably not worth it. And this allows me to hire an adventurer for 3 gold, as opposed to this method down here, which hires a new level 1 adventurer for 4. Well, that might be a good idea too, because that's a bargain for a new adventurer. And I know that my 5 adventurers probably aren't going to be enough. I'm going to probably need 6. So question is, do I buy them now or do I wait and buy them later? Because I really would like to get this Seller Savvy as well. I think I'll go. Let's get them out of the way and just get them now and get them cheap. So I think with this 6th adventure that I should be set as long as I can get them all leveled up to level 4 in due time. So I'm going to grab this option. Cost me 3 gold, down to 2, and now I'm at my second market choice. I can't rush this quest, so that's not an option to me because it's at the end of its cycle. And with 2 gold, I probably could grab a weapon. But if I was going to get a weapon, it would be either the mace or the sword. Actually, maybe I will grab this iron sword because it has a power level 3. And I don't have a level 3 weapon, a power level 3 weapon yet. So I think that's going to be my next choice to get that public weapon. I can either click there or click here, it doesn't matter. I am going to take that iron sword. So that empties, gets rid of all my gold, but now I've got more weapon designs available to me, and now I have more specifically, I have an iron sword that I can use my iron with. Before this, all I had were copper weapons, so my iron would be going to waste. So that was a good choice for me. So now we're up here in the quest acquisition phase, and I am going to take this Spiders of the Hollow Glen. When I complete that quest, I will get an iron and 2 gold and 6 points. That takes me to the quest management phase. Now this quest is still being met. The power requirement didn't change, so at the end of this round, as soon as I proceed to stage 1, round 4, this quest will succeed, pay out, and go away. So I'm going to be getting 2 gold and 4 points. This is the quest I have to meet, and I need to provide 3 power. And again, I'm sorry, I need that reminder. What's my bonus tile? If I have exactly 1 active quest at the start of this round. Okay, because I was thinking if I would put my expeditious adventurer here and rush the quest using the expeditious ability to the second step, I could get this quest to complete at the end of this round as well. But if I did that, I'd lose the bonus. So I am not going to rush this quest. I'm just going to get 2 adventurers on it with 3 power and let it let it remain so that when I get to next round, I'll be able to get the bonus. So I'm going to apply my level 2 adventurer to it. And now remember, this quest is only going to provide 1 level up for 1 adventurer. So I'm just going to meet the requirements with this single adventurer so I don't have to apply anybody else, and give him an iron sword that I just purchased the design for. It's going to use up both of my iron, but it's worth it to me to do this. So I'm going to give him an iron sword to wield. He goes out and gets ready to fight the spiders of the Hollow Glen, and he will stick around for 1 more round before that quest succeeds. So now we're moving into stage 1, round 4. This quest completes, and that's 2 gold, 4 points, and I've advanced that level 1 adventure to level 2 as a result of completing Rats in the Cellar. And now we're at the bonus tile. If I have exactly 1 active quest at the start of this round, I do. I immediately gain 1 level 1 adventurer. Wow, I forgot about that. I didn't need to. I just bought that adventurer last round, and I didn't need to. Didn't I do that? Yeah, I bought the adventurer that was cheap, and that probably was a bad move on my part. I forgot. I should have paid a closer attention what these bonus tiles were giving me. Well, anyway, I now have a 7th adventurer. I might as well. There's nothing more to do about that. He might go to waste, or maybe he won't. Depends how things work out. In 3 rounds, the next bonus tile says that for every 3 unspent resources I have, rounded down, I'll be able to collect 1 free iron from the supply. So basically, I want to collect as many resources as possible. Well, in this game, in a solo game, you always want to collect as many resources as possible and spend as few of them as possible. So I don't have to do anything special to meet the demands of that request, of that bonus tile. I'm going to be doing that as a matter of course anyway. Okay, we're moving to the mining phase now of round 4, and yellow has jumped this way and jumped over a bunch of different workers, some of which were his own. Gray has 3 different choices. He can jump this way over the yellow worker, this way over the yellow worker, this way over the blue worker, or this way over the yellow worker. All of them are equivalent, so I get to choose which one helps me the most. That helps this guy so that if he did jump this way, he would generate some resource. He would generate an extra resource, an extra emerald actually. So that might be the best move. Let's see, what were the other choices? This guy could jump over this yellow, which doesn't help me immediately. This guy could jump over this yellow, which has no immediate benefit to me. And let's see, 37 to 54. So was that one 29 to 22 that way and that way? Oh, and going this way. So I think my best move is to move gray this way and convert this worker here to a gray worker. And yellow's not going to be jumping over it, so I think that's going to be to my benefit, unless something better turns up in the meantime. So let's move gray that way. Yeah, that's it. So blue going this way doesn't help me. Blue going this way doesn't help me. Blue going this way generates an emerald and a copper, so that's my move. And that takes us back to the market phase. And before I go to the market phase, I'm going to look ahead. And I have a Cleanse the Thieves' Den, which is a 1-leg quest requiring power level 4. And based on the weapons I have, I know I'm going to need to apply at least 2 adventurers to that quest. But it's only a 1-leg quest, so I'd be wasting one of the adventurers. Over here, I've got another Rats in the Cellar. Another woman, was it a woman? Yeah, a respected old woman. Another one with rats infesting her cellar. So I guess rats are a problem right now. There are 2 Rats in the Cellar's cards in the deck, but I should point out that the quest deck only contains, I don't know, maybe 3 or 4 duplicates. There's 2 Rats cards. There's 2 of one other quest, maybe 2 of one other quest. I don't remember if there's another duplicate after that, but by far all the cards in the quest deck are unique. There's only a handful of duplicates. These very simple quests for the most part. So that's a nice benefit. That's just a nice added feature of the game, that you don't have to be seeing the same cards over and over again. But for now, I think that's going to be the quest I'm going to grab. So when the time comes. So I'm going to go the easy way. I'm going to just take the easy way. So what do I have down here? I've got 2 gold, not a lot to spend. Well, for that quest, I'm only going to need a copper dagger with a power of 1, and that's going to use up only 1 copper. So I know I've easily got the requirements of that quest met, because I've got 6 copper in my supply. So I could sell the emerald, but even if I sold the emerald, I'd only get 2 gold for it. That would bring my total up to 4. Still not enough to buy any of these cards. So let me look over here. I could get the copper surplus, which gets me another 2 copper for the price of 2 gold. It's not a bad deal, because normally when you're buying copper from the merchant, you pay 2 for every 1 copper. So here I'm getting double the price, double the number of copper for the 2 gold. And again, that option to move a worker. Well, at this stage of the game, I can't have enough copper, I think. so I probably will grab this. Rush. There's no quest for me to rush. As you recall, that quest is ready to complete, so it can't be rushed. So I think I don't need any weapons in the public weapon. I don't have any requirements for an iron mace. I might have a requirement for a spear at some point down the road, but not right this second, unless I wanted to get that quest, but that would cost me a gold. So I think I will grab this copper for 2 gold, and then pass and gain a gold from the supply. And then in the quest acquisition up here, I will grab this quest, Rats in the Cellar again. And now this quest is still being met with this level 2 adventure and the power 3. Now I don't have the same issue I had before where I wanted to have one active quest. Now I could apply my expeditious adventure to this quest and rush it and get it over with. But he doesn't advance in that case. He doesn't level up, so it won't really help me. And it's such a simple quest. I really want in this particular case, I want to apply either my level 1 or level 2 adventure to that quest so they can level up and get the benefit of it. I could apply both my expeditious and level 2. I can always exceed the requirements of the quest. You can't apply an adventure to a quest without giving him a weapon. There's actually an exception to that, but we'll worry about that down the road. But for the most part, every adventure on a quest has to have a weapon. So my choices are: do I waste a copper and apply hand out 2 copper daggers to two adventurers just to get this quest rushed and out of the way? And no, there's no real benefit to that. So I'm not in a hurry. This quest will finish in due time. It's such a simple quest. I'm just going to apply my level 2. I'm going to give him a dagger. That meets the requirements of the quest, and this quest will succeed at the end of next round. So let's move on to stage 1, round 5. That quest succeeds, pays out, and looks like Gray has jumped this way in the mine phase, leaving behind 3 Gray workers in his wake. Okay, so now it's my turn. And let's see. Can't go that way. Going that way doesn't help me. Going this way doesn't help me. This guy can go that way. It doesn't help me. So it looks like I'm only going to be destined to get 1 resource here. A copper, and a copper. So the question is, where do I want to be? I can have this overseer here in position to jump over him, or that overseer there in position to jump over him. I could move this overseer to here, here, or here, but there's no real advantage to doing so. And having this overseer go there doesn't really give me any particular advantage. So let's move this guy. Well, it really doesn't matter much. Let's move this guy to here. So I generate a copper for myself, and he's in position on this iron space to possibly jump over that yellow worker come next round. Alternatively, is there a way that I can set myself up for next round so I've got a better move? No, there's no other place where there are two workers of the same color at a location that are next to each other where I could possibly jump over both workers. So I guess I'm just going to move this guy here. Get a copper. Yellow jumps over me and ends up in the corner. And here we are in the market phase. And let's start by going up here and taking a peek. We have Arena Games, a two-leg quest that doesn't have terrible power requirements. Some wealthy merchants are holding a tournament of sorts to increase the spirits of the lower class. A happy public is good for business. If adventurers can survive a couple of rounds of combat, they'll earn a cash prize, in this case, 5 gold and 7 points. I think that's the way I'm going to go. So I'm going to plan on grabbing Arena Games, and I'll be able to level up 2 adventurers. And I may need, what I'll probably do is use my Expeditious on that one. So I'll get that quest rushed, so I'll acquire it and finish it in 1 round, and get it out of the way and get that gold that much faster. So let's come down here. We're in good shape, even without purchasing any cards. And let's see, I've got 3 gold. I could sell a resource and get another market stall that trades emerald to copper. It could benefit me because, remember, I can only use these once per turn. So if I had two identical market stalls, I could use each one once per round. But I can do the same thing if I buy a trader savvy, which allows me to use one of my market stalls 1 extra time each round. And that's more flexible because I can use any market stall that I happen to own. Now, if I wanted to buy that trader savvy, I would have to sell a resource because I'm short on gold. Let's just peek over here. Hire an adventurer. I know I don't need to do that. Level up an adventurer for a cost of 1 gold. That's enticing because this would normally cost me 3 gold to level this guy up, or I'd have to simply apply him to a quest. But if I take this option, I can get him advanced to level 4 now and get that special ability right away. I like that option. So I'm going to spend 1 gold, and I'm going to level up my level 3 to a level 4. And I am going to choose Fortuitous. The player receives an extra 3 gold when the champion fully completes a quest from start to finish. So if I apply this Fortuitous champion to a quest, give him a weapon at the start of when I first acquire the quest, as long as he stays with that quest for the duration of it, I'll get an extra 3 gold as payout. Right now, at this part of the game where I desperately need a gold, that's the kind of adventurer I need in my pool of adventurers. So I'm going to make him Fortuitous. And now my second choice. Well, now I'm down to 2 gold, and there are no more cards to choose. Again, this quest is about to finish, so I can't rush it. I don't need to buy a weapon, so I'm going to pass and take a gold. I'm going to come up here and that one pays 4. This one pays 5. I like the look of this quest better, so I'm going to grab Arena Games. Okay, this quest is about to finish. Arena Games, I'm going to, let's see, I think I'm going to do this with a bunch of guys and daggers. I'm going to apply Expeditious, give him a copper dagger. That meets that meets the requirements, half the requirement of this first leg, but he's expeditious, so he allows me to rush this quest up to 2 steps. I can't go beyond the last step, so I can only rush it 1 step. So I'm going to rush it so it finishes at the end of this round. Now I'm going to apply my Fortuitous champion and give him a dagger. And that meets 2 of the 4 power requirement of this leg. But neither of these guys will level up when this quest succeeds. So now I want to apply 2 more adventurers. A level 1, give him a dagger. And another level 1, and give him a dagger. So that when this quest finishes, it will finish right now at the end of this round. And these 2 level 1s will become level 2s. That's the way I want to go. So we're ready to advance to stage 1, round 6. And both quests have succeeded. The first one paid me 2 gold, 4 points, and advanced level 2 to level 3. And then the next one, Arena Games, paid 5 gold, 7 points. I got an extra 3 gold for Fortuitous, and my 2 level 1 adventurers on that quest leveled up to level 2. So I'm in really good shape. I bumped myself up to 13 gold going into round 6. And you recall that my bonus tile requirement coming up at the next round is having a certain number of unspent resources, some multiple of 3 that'll give me 1 free iron for every 3. So right now, at least, if that happened right now, I would get 2 iron for these 6 resources. But I'm not there yet. I got 1 round to go. So let's see what we're going to do in the mine phase now at stage 1, round 6. This is the round in which I get two chances to move an overseer. 1 chance now, and then 1 chance later after the dummy players have moved. Okay, stage 1, round 6. I get to make 2 moves. The first one now, then the next one later. And let's see, I can move this fellow here and get 2 iron. And these only generate copper if they move. And I'd like to see if I'm going to be in position. I don't want to waste your time. So I'm just going to take this move, and we'll see what happens after yellow and gray go. So I'm going to go here and get 2 iron. And yellow actually has no jumping move, so let's see if I can, and let's see if we can figure out what gray's going to do. So gray could go this way, but so that would mean if, but I can't do anything with that. Let's see. So my best bet right now is to move this yellow piece, so at the very least I can get this guy to jump over it. I don't see, there's really no move that gray could, well, I want, if gray moves here, but he's not, he's going to move there. So I think my best bet is to move yellow out of the way and free up another iron space. So I'm just going to tuck him back here. Oh, okay, gray jumped that way because that was the move that resulted in his jumping over the fewest number of his own pieces. And now my only real move here is to jump down here and get another copper and an iron. Okay, let's take a peek ahead and see what kind of quests we have coming down the pike. Quell Tavern Brawl, a 2-step, 1-leg quest, power of 2 that delivers 3 gold. Oh, we got 2 Quell Tavern Brawls. I guess that's one of the other simple quests. Just right, you can see it's one quest. It's one bit harder than Rats in the Cellar. Rats in the Cellar was 2 steps, 1 leg, 1 power. This one's 2 steps, 1 leg, 2 power. So it looks like I'm going to grab that. Because if I pay one gold to go this route, I'll get a net of 2. This pays 3. This is by my best bet to grab one of these. So that's going to be what I'm doing. It doesn't have any terrible requirements involved. So let's see. We've got a great sword that has popped up. So this might be a good opportunity to buy that. It costs 3 gold, and I have it. So I'll go that route and buy that weapon design. So now I have a 1, 2, 3, and 5 power design. And we have a market stall that converts copper and iron. I had an opportunity to get this before, and I didn't do it. And here's one that converts emerald to iron. another level up. I don't think I need that. A move overseer. I don't think there's any great moves in the mine for me. No. So my best bet is to grab one of these market stalls, and I think I'll go with the copper iron because it's a more basic. Although we're heading into stage 2, where copper is slightly less important. So I think maybe I'll go this way. Although copper's less important, but it's less available. So actually, the fact that it's going to be less available means that it's probably in my interest to get a market stall that converts iron into copper in case I'm running low on copper at any point along the way. So I think that's what I'll do. I'll grab this market stall. So now I have 2 of them. And I'm going to grab Quell Tavern Brawl. And just like last time, I'm going to put my Expeditious fellow on it so I can rush the quest and get it over with. I'll give him a copper dagger. I will apply someone that I want to be able to level up. So I'll apply this level 3 fellow and give him a copper dagger. So now I've met the requirements of the quest, and I'm going to rush it for Expeditious. So now it's going to be able to complete at the end of this round. But as long as my Fortuitous fellow is available, I am going to spend a copper to give him a copper dagger. And I've overpowered the quest, but this way I'll grab 3 extra gold when the quest completes at the end of this round. Giving up 1 copper for 3 gold is a good deal. So I'm going to go with that, and we're now going to advance into stage 2, round 1, where we're going to start with a brand new mine. So this quest completes, and this is our level 3 fellow who's leveling up, and we have to give him a special ability. And I am going to choose Charming. When a player starts a quest and applies this champion to it, the player receives 1 gold from the supply instead of paying the acquisition cost. In other words, if I grab a quest that's farther out to the right that costs 1, 2, or 3 gold, instead of having to pay that gold, I will receive 1 gold for grabbing a quest from anywhere, from any slot. That gives me a broader choice of quests to choose from without having to worry about paying for them. Okay, so he's going to be Charming. And now, for every 3 unspent resources I have, rounded down, I collect 1 free iron from the supply. So I have 7 resources, I get 2 iron. So I bump up my 4 to 6. In 3 rounds, the new bonus tile will be for every 3 unspent resources I have, I'll collect a free copper from the supply. So very similar to the last one. So that'll be coming down the pike 3 rounds from now. Moving into the new mine at stage 2, round 1, you can see that we have less copper. There's more iron on the board. We have ruby here, blue mithril here, and still a handful of emerald. But mithril becomes more important in this stage. Okay, so we're basically, this is just like the beginning of the game where we're placing the overseers. Now, I think I will place yellow here and gray there and myself here, and that way I can snag a ruby, a iron, and a mithril if I played that first. I will place yellow here and gray here and blue here in case I want to go this way, and I can get an iron, a ruby, and an emerald. And let's see. I'll put yellow here and there and there. just to finish that off. Okay, so now we're ready to move an overseer for the yellow player. The question is, what would I rather have? An iron, a ruby, and an emerald, or an iron, a ruby, and a mithril? I think I'm going to grab a mithril since I don't have any, and I have one emerald in my supply. So I'm going to move yellow here, and I'm going to move gray here. And I'll move my blue this way and grab my 3 resources. Going into the next phase, market phase. Let's see what we have up here. Trolls Under the Bridge. 2-step, 1 leg, 5 power, 2 copper, pays 2 copper and 3 gold. And what is it, 8 points? That's a little bit too, it's a 4-step quest. I wouldn't get done with it right away. I'd rather take these quests that I can have come and go promptly. So this is a 5 power and pays 3. This is a 2 power and pays, so this just gives me some extra copper. Workers, not that exciting, and that's that one from way back when that requires a spear, which I could consider getting, but why bother at this point? So I think I'm going to plan on another Trolls Under the Bridge, or rather not another one, just Trolls Under the Bridge. The last one we did was Quell Tavern Brawl. Okay, nothing new in the public weapon designs. I've got a market stall that converts ruby into iron. And an adventurer's savvy, which I don't think I need. A ruby surplus gets me 1 ruby. And a move overseer. Let me just take a peek in the mine again. There's nothing there for me. So I'm going to grab this market stall that converts ruby into iron and vice versa. And down here, I don't need another adventurer. I don't think I need to level anybody up. And I have no quests I need to rush, so I'm just, for my second choice, I'll just pass and take a gold. And we're grabbing Trolls Under the Bridge and promptly moving to stage 2, round 2. Oh, I'm sorry, not quite. I have to manage this quest first, so I have to apply Expeditious to it. Give him a copper dagger and rush the quest to the second step. Now we need 5 here, so we're going to come and give Fortuitous a iron sword. Yeah, we could go that way. We can give him an iron sword, spend 2 iron, and then I need 1 more power, and I can level up 1 fellow, so I'll assign a level 2 adventurer who will level up when this quest completes, and I'll give him a copper dagger with my last remaining copper, and we're good to go on that quest. So we're now moving into stage 2, round 2. Okay. Gray has 3 or 4 different choices. Gray can jump over my blue piece here. He can jump over my blue piece here. He can jump over my blue piece here. He could jump over my blue piece here. I don't know that any of those really matter to me. They might matter to yellow, but they don't matter to me. If I go this way, turn that into gray, then yellow could jump over it and end up over here. Then he could eventually jump over my piece if gray doesn't get there first. I think I'll just I think I'm just going to have gray go this way. Okay, it's my move. I hope I didn't play that wrong. I wasn't thinking. I wasn't thinking ahead because I thought yellow was going next. But I don't think there was going to be a way that I was going to get another something out of it. So do I want a copper or do I want an iron? Let me peek ahead and see what's coming in quest-wise. We've got Lock the Gates of the Crypt, which is 8 power and requires a mace on the third leg. And Fairy Mischief, which pays 2 workers. I think this is the quest I want to get. And it's high enough that I'm going to probably use iron for the most part. So I'm going to come back here to the mine. And I'm going to go move somewhere where I can pick up an iron. So take this guy, move him down here. I'll get an iron there. I'll get an iron there. That'll go away. And now yellow has 3 choices. And converting this doesn't help me. Converting this doesn't immediately help me, but converting this does help me. So I will move him this way. And now it's my first market action. I know which quest I'm planning to get. I don't have to rush. So I think, let's see, we got a market stall that converts emerald and ruby. I don't have that. And one that converts iron into mithril. This one could be very useful. Probably more so than the other one. So I think I will grab this market stall and have it in my supply. Alternatively, I can move an overseer and grab 2 more iron. So do I want to pay 4 gold to grab 2 iron? What's the buying rate on iron? 3. I think I'm going to go this way and get a market stall, which could be more useful to me down the road. So I'm going to pay 7 for that. And for my second, I'll just take a gold. We're going to grab Lock the Gates of the Crypt. And once again, Expeditious. And then we'll apply, we'll give him an iron sword. And we'll rush the quest 2 steps. We'll apply a level 3 and give him a mace, because somebody's got to be carrying a mace, so we're going to give it to him. Now we're running short on copper. And I want to apply 2 more adventurers at least. So we're going to make use of this market stall that converts iron into copper, or this one converting emerald into copper. That'll get me 2 copper. Yeah, I think that's what I'll do. So I have no immediate need for emerald, so I'm going to use that market stall and use up an emerald to get 2 copper. And then I'm going to come back here and assign a level 2 and give him a copper dagger. So now we're up to 6. And it's a 3-leg quest, so I want to have at least 3 level 3 adventurers or less. So we're going to assign another level 1 and give him a copper dagger. And now we have 1 more power to fill, which is going to get filled by Fortuitous. But we got to do this in the most the simplest way possible, and that might be to use this market stall. We can use each one once, so I'm going to use this market stall to convert an iron into a copper. And now I'll give this guy a copper dagger. And now I've met the requirements of the quest. And when the quest succeeds this round, it will pay out an iron, 5 gold, 12 points, 15 points rather, an iron, 5 gold, 15 points, plus an extra 3 gold for fortuitous. So let's advance. All right, so this is our level 3 adventure leveling up, and I think I will assign him. I think I'm going to assign him commanding. After this champion is applied to a quest, whenever an additional adventure is applied to the same quest, the champion applies +1 weapon power to his equipped weapon. So that means now, from this point forward, I want to get a commanding assigned to my quests first, so that each successive fellow I add to each additional adventure I add to my quest gets an extra power added to the weapon. Okay, we're first in the mine here. This is going to lead us into that next bonus tile. So I want to grab as many resources as I can, and I'm going to get 2 moves. If I move here to here, that will get me a 2 iron, and I'll be in this position. Yellow will not go that way. Yellow will go this way, which helps me in this position. So that's pretty much, I think it's pretty clear I want to do that. So I'm going from here to here, getting the 2 iron. Yellow is jumping over here as predicted, and now gray has 2 choices, going this way or this way. Neither one really affects me one way or the other, so I'll just stick him in the corner. And now I get another overseer movement, and looks like, oh yeah, going that way doesn't help me. I could go this way or this way. This gets me an emerald and an iron. This gets me 2 iron. I think I'll take the emerald and the iron, so I have more options available to me to trade. By the way, before I proceed, let me just tell you about one other rule that's involved in the mine. Anytime an overseer gets moved and generates workers, if there's ever a situation where there are 5 or more contiguous workers of the same color, not necessarily in a straight line, what happens is they go on strike. So for example, if this fellow was gray and there was a gray worker here and there was a gray worker here, then we'd have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 contiguous gray workers. They would go on strike and just disappear from the board. So if there is ever a group of the same colored workers, they'll all disappear. Just so you know that rule. It hasn't happened yet, but it might happen down the road. Okay, we're taking an emerald and an iron. And let's see, we have Trolls Under the Bridge again, as well as the Ogre Berserker, who gets me an Overseer movement when he completes. There is nothing here that to write home about Overseer-wise, so that's not a great benefit for me. I think I may just go with Trolls Under the Bridge again. Unless I want to grab one of these quests and use Charming. Let's see, he pays 2 copper, 3 gold, and 8 points. He pays 3 gold and 5 points. 3 gold, a worker, and 7 points. There might be some... Well, if I grab him, he's going to go away. He'll move to this spot as these guys rotate this way. So I'll have another shot at getting him, I think. I think, yeah. So let's, I think I'll plan on grabbing Trolls Under the Bridge to get as my next quest. So let's come down here and see what our choices are. We have a Mithril Mace has shown up. I have no weapons that make use of Mithril yet, but I don't have an immediate need for a mace either. And there will probably be other weapons that come up that use mithril, so I'm going to hold on that. This converts mithril and ruby. This converts iron and mithril, which we already have. I don't need another adventurer. This one provides me with 2 additional iron, which for a price of 3, which might not be bad. But ruby mithril, I think, is probably the way I want to go. I want to have as much flexibility as I can possibly get when it comes to having these market stalls. So I'm going to grab that. And for my second choice, I can always get the mace next turn, so I will pass and gain 1 gold from the supply. When you're playing multiplayer, by the way, with these public weapon designs, if another player claims the public weapon, that doesn't mean you can't claim it. But if you then claim it subsequent to another player claiming it, not only do you have to pay the cost of the weapon, but you also have to pay anybody else who has already claimed that weapon 1 gold. So the public weapon designs become more expensive in multiplayer games. Not the case in a solo player game. So it's not something I have to concern myself with. So I will take a gold from the supply. We will take trolls under the bridge. Travelers have reportedly been accosted by a band of trolls demanding a toll to cross the southern bridge. The nerve. The Crown is the only authority that can excise trolls. Actually, toll. Oh, that can excise tolls. Or trolls. Get out there and deal with this insolence. Okay. That brings us to our quest management phase, where we have to take this quest out, and I need 5 power. I'm going to apply. Now, only one adventurer is going to get leveled up, so I only have to worry about having at least 1 level 1, 2, or 3 adventurer. So I'm going to apply commanding first, and I don't. Let's see. I want to apply expeditious. I want to apply fortuitous. I think I want to have some copper available to me. So again, I'm going to make use of, this is another round, so I can use this market stall again. I'm going to use this market stall to convert emerald to copper. Emerald into 2 copper. Gives me a broader choice of weapons to choose from. Now I know I want commanding, I want expeditious, I want fortuitous, and I want a level. That's 4 adventurers supplying 5 power, so somebody has to provide 2 power. So doesn't really matter which weapon I use, they're both identical. So I will assign commanding a copper mace. Oh, but wait a second. Nope. I'm going to take that back, sorry. I'm going to supply commanding with a copper dagger. You got to remember that commanding gets an extra power added to the quest every time I add another adventurer. So let's add expeditious. Give him a copper dagger. I'm not going to have enough copper, as I predicted earlier. The power has jumped up to 2. Now, I'm not actually sure whether his power gets increased by 1 or his power gets increased by 1. But it doesn't really matter. The 1 power is coming from somewhere. My program just adds the 1 to the new adventurer. So now I can rush the quest using Expeditious's special ability. And now we're at power 3. We need 2 more. And again, I'm out of copper. I don't know if I'm going to be able to grab enough copper here. I can convert 1 iron into 1 copper. I can always buy a copper from the, that might be the way to go. All right, let's apply fortuitous. Let's use my copper to iron market stall to convert 1 iron into 1 to copper. And now assign him a copper dagger. That now meets the quest, because commanding gets an extra bump up from each one of these fellows. But I do want somebody to level up as a result of this, so I'm going to assign it's going to be worth it to me to assign my level 3, and I will go to the merchant to buy a copper for 2 gold, because I have the gold now. And now I will give him a copper dagger, and I've overpowered the quest, but this way I get 3 gold from fortuitous, I get to rush the quest with expeditious. I may not have even needed commanding. No, commanding actually did it, because everybody has a copper dagger, so if I didn't have commanding, I'd have 4 power of the 5 I needed. So it helped one way or another. So I think we're good. Let's move on to stage 2, round 4. We have a bonus tile coming up. And I have to assign this level 3 adventurer a new ability. I'm going to give him the stoic ability. This is the one type of adventurer who doesn't need a weapon. You can equip him with a weapon, but if you don't, he has a built-in power of 2. And when you need an extra 1 or 2 power to meet the requirements of a quest, he can come in very handy. So we're going to have a stoic adventurer added to our list of champions. And now our bonus tile. For every 3 unspent resources, I collect a free copper, and I can use the extra copper. So I have 1, 2, 4, 11 resources. That rounds to 9 copper. I'm sorry, 11 resources. Do my math properly. That comes out to 3 additional copper. 11 divided by 3, rounded down. So 1, 2, 3. That's nice to have. And the next bonus tile, for every level 4 champion I have, either available or assigned to quests, I immediately spend 3 gold buying resources from the merchant. That'll be nice. I've got 5 champions now here, and I have the potential to create 2 more if I can level these guys up fast enough. So I've got 3 rounds to accomplish that. That brings us into stage 2, round 4. Yellow has moved. Gray has a couple of different options. I think going this way is my best bet. Who is this? Going this way, going that way. Oh, this fellow jumping that way. Either way, I think I want to have, I want to keep this space open, and I want to convert this to another color for the benefit of this overseer. So I'm going to go with this move. And now it's my turn, and I can either go this way and get a copper and a mithril, or this way and get a copper and an emerald. Do I care one way or the other? Sure, I say, because in case I'm running low on copper again, I can convert an emerald into copper. And I doubt I have any immediate need for mithril. Let me just look ahead. Nothing terrible coming down. So yeah, let's go that way. Let's do the iron and emerald combination. Into the market phase. So you know I have my eye on this fellow here, the Royal Tournament, which is sort of like the arena games, just a little beefed up. Oh, and then we always have that option of Cleanse the Thieves' Den. That's a worker, 3 gold and 7 points. This is 7 gold and 9 points. I think I'm just going to go with Royal Tournament. It's going to be easy enough to fill. So what do we have down here? We have a Trader Savvy that allows me to use a market stall twice. I don't have one of those. I think it might behoove me to get one. And a Seller Savvy, which is nice to have. I don't have one of those either. I think right now, with all these market stalls I have, the trader savvy that allows me to use one of them one extra time is probably my best bet. So I'm going to go with that for 5 gold. Fortunately, I can't buy 2 cards. I can only buy 1. Okay. Let's pass and take a gold. Let's grab this quest. And now you could probably do this instead of me. We're going to apply commanding first. Now I only have to meet a power of 6, so I think using copper daggers is going to be sufficient. So commanding, and then we'll apply expeditious with a copper dagger. He gets bumped up, and I can rush the quest to the next step. Incidentally, if there was an intermediate reward for the first leg, there isn't, but if there was, I would not receive it by virtue of using Expeditious's ability to rush a quest. If you use that ability, I was clearing the message, but if you read the details, it says any rewards you might have received by passing over legs, you don't get as a result. And if there were any benefits that any other adventurers applied to the quest might get for completing a leg, they don't get those either. Okay, we're going to apply fortuitous with a copper dagger because I just want to keep the gold pouring in. It's worth it to me. We're going to apply level 2 and give him a copper dagger. Now we've met and exceeded the power of the difficulty of the quest, but I want to get this fellow leveled up as well, so we're going to give him a copper dagger. So copper is coming in really handy, especially when because I have this commanding fellow that bumps up weapon power every time I add a whole slew of adventurers. I'm all out of copper, so I can use some more. Hopefully we'll see some in the mine. Moving into stage 2, round 5. Larry successfully completed, so I got 7 gold, 9 points. Level 4 got me 3 points, and my two adventurers leveled up. And now it is Gray's turn, and he has 2 choices. And once again, they were jumping that way or jumping this way with this particular overseer. Gray moving this way doesn't help me. Gray moving that way could potentially help me. So let's go this way. It's my turn. I can go this way but only get an iron, but I have the potential then to jump this way and get 3 resources. I could jump this way and get 2 now, and he's stuck in the corner with nothing. As long as somebody doesn't get in here and block me, and I don't see that anyone will, I think I'd rather set myself up. Well, wait a minute. If I go this way, I get 1 resource now and 1, 2, 3 later, so for a total of 4. If I do this now, I get 2 resources with still the potential to jump. I think I'll take the immediate. I'm going to go this way. I'm going to go this way, I think, and just take the immediate gain. So I'll take a copper and an emerald for this jump. All right, yellow, going this way or that way or this way. I think we'll go this way and convert this blue to a yellow. All right, let's see what quests we have. Sentient Crystal Invasion, requiring a mace, pays a ruby, 2 gold and 12 points. Mine Saboteurs pays a worker and 15 points, but no gold. I paid 2 gold. Hmm. 2 gold and a ruby. No big gold payouts unless I go out here. I don't want a quest that has 4 steps. I really don't want to tie up my adventurers. I could grab this one using Charming. But it's only 3 gold, 5 points versus 2 gold, a ruby, and 12. I think I'm going to go with Sentient Crystal Invasion. So let's see what we have down. So that requires a mace, but I already have a mace, so I'm covered there. It's a copper mace. I'm really low on copper, however. So we're going to have to do some trading, and I have that trader savvy now, so that's going to come in handy. Market stall converting emerald to ruby. I don't have one of those. It might be nice converting mithril into ruby. I do have that. This one is a mithril to ruby. So I think I don't have an emerald to ruby. And the nice thing about these market stalls, if you're really in a pinch, you can chain them together. So I could convert, for example, a ruby into an emerald, and an emerald into a mithril, and a mithril into an iron or something if I had to. Right now I'm in a good position as far as gold is concerned. No weapons that I'm dying to get my hands on just yet. And I have a mace, so I'm covered, but low on copper. So I've got to think that one through. Let's grab a gold. And we're taking Sentient Crystal Invasion. We're going to apply commanding. And let's use these. Let's get some copper in our supply. So I'm going to use this to convert an emerald into 2 coppers. And I'm using my trader savvy. I'm going to use this again. This is just reminding me I have to use my trader savvy to do this. So I'm again going to pay an emerald to get 2 more coppers. And now I've used up my trader savvy, so I can't use that again to double up on another market stall this round. Okay, so we've applied commanding. I'm going to give, I think we can just assume that commanding is going to do the trick. Boy, he almost seems overpowered, doesn't he? After this champion is applied to a quest, whenever an additional adventure is applied, champion applies +1 weapon power to his equipped weapon, and I assume it accumulates. There's no reason to believe it wouldn't, so that almost seems too good to be true. We'll give him, well, we need a mace, so we might as well give him a copper mace and meet that request. Although, hang on a second, I'm going to undo that for the moment. If I don't meet the requirements of the mace, then the difficulty of the adventure goes up by 3. That's why this says 7. I'm on leg 1, so 4 plus 3 equals 7. When I use Expeditious to go to the second leg, if I don't have anybody with a mace, then the 7 will go up to 10. If I apply commanding, charming, commanding, expeditious, fortuitous, possibly even stoic, and these fellows, and give them all daggers, I think that's going to be enough. I don't think I need to waste copper on a mace. I don't think I need to. I'm just going to give him a copper dagger. And we'll assign expeditious and give him a copper dagger, which now has power 2 and allows me to rush the quest. We will apply our level 3 and give him a copper dagger. I just hope I don't run low on copper. I think I'm going to run low on copper. Level 2, give him a copper dagger. Yeah, we're going to be one shy. No, we'll be all right. I can give, because I can assign Fortuitous, give him a copper dagger. We're one shy, but now I can assign Stoic without a weapon, so I don't have to pay any resources. And he has a built-in 2 plus 1 because of commanding. So I've well exceeded the quest. And I'm starting to think with all these guys, I'm just thinking ahead that the next time this, well, as soon as this level 3 levels up, which he's about to do right now, there is a quest. There's an ability that says if you can get additional points or gold if you supply power in excess of a quest with difficulty. So that might be what I want to go for next. Let's move on to stage 2, round 6. This quest completes. Round 3 is going to want to look for a title and a champion title, and let's see if I can find that. Yeah, the bravura. I'm not sure how to pronounce that. I sound like an idiot. The player receives 1 point for every point of weapon power applied to the quest in excess of the difficulty of the final leg when this champion fully completes a quest from start to finish. Boy, that's enticing. So that is nice. Let's go with that. Okay, and if I can get this last fellow leveled up, and I'm sure I'm going to be able to, going into the next bonus tile where I have that bonus based on the number of champions, I'm going to be decked out with champions. I'm going to have 7 of them. Okay, I get 2 turns this round. He can jump that way. He can jump this way. He's going to possibly jump that way. He's kind of stuck here. Gray, I can have him jump this way and free up. I can then make a big jump, possibly from there to there. Yeah, I'm going to do that. I don't know if this is going to work, but let's see. So if I go this way, I get an iron and an iron here. Oh, darn it. That was a strike. 5 contiguous workers. Even so, let's have him go this way. And now it's my second move, which will allow me to grab a copper, a mithril, and an iron going this way. Just making sure I don't have anything else that I'm missing. I don't seem to. So I could go this way and get a copper and an iron, but I'll miss out on the extra resource. So we're going to go that way. Okay, what we got here? I don't want this quest. It's too many steps. I don't want to tie up my adventurers. Disperse the Dark Coven. I don't have to worry about the mace requirement because I'll use Expeditious to get to level 2. So that pays 5 gold and 12 points. This is where if you really wanted to go for high score, you would pass on the gold and just go for the points. And maybe that's what I should do. Because I've got plenty of gold at the moment, although I could eat that up really quickly. Let's see. Let me come back here. This pays 12 points. This is 5 gold and 12 points, 15 points, and an overseer movement, 11 points, 9 points, 14 points, 17 points, but too many steps, and that was too many steps, and 5 points. I think that was the best combination. I may use charming to take this quest. Of course, then the bravura. I may not get. Again, I'm really low on copper. I may not have enough copper to go around. But let's go for the points at this point. Why not? And I get another overseer movement, but I don't think there's anything in the mine. Yeah, there is something I can get. I can make this jump and get a couple of resources, so that wouldn't be terrible. Yes, so let's plan on grabbing mine saboteurs. Let's come back here, and a buyer savvy allows me to buy 1 extra resource from the merchant. Haven't needed that yet. Converting ruby into 2 iron. I do have one of those. Provides me with 2 extra iron for 3. I think in case of an emergency, I'm going to take the buyer savvy in case I ever need desperately to buy 2 additional resources. I've got plenty of market stalls, so I find that unlikely, but just in case, I'm going to grab it. Then I will pass and gain a gold from the supply. And we're taking mine saboteurs. Okay, so let's apply commanding first and give him a copper dagger. And let's use our emerald to copper converter twice. Oh shoot, I have no emerald. Wait a second. Not a good idea. I have 2 ruby. 1 ruby converts into 1 emerald. 1 ruby converts into 1 mithril. Mithril into 1 iron. Yeah, maybe I'll spend my 2 rubies on 2 emeralds. Oh, darn it. But then I only have 1 trader savvy. Well, let's use this for the moment and get an emerald. So I convert a ruby into an emerald. Let's use this to convert the emerald into 2 copper. That's pretty expensive. I'm basically going from 1 ruby to 2 copper. But I have so much iron. Maybe I shouldn't be wasting all these jewels just to get more copper. And I should just use the iron that I have. Iron, copper. I don't know. Yeah, let's use that. And take an iron and get a copper for that. And let's stop for the moment. And let's just see where this takes me. So let's apply expeditious. Did I not? Oh, wait. Oh, I forgot to apply charming, and I paid a gold instead of gaining a gold. So my fault. I'm not going to go back. I should pay that. I'll pay the price of not thinking. So we're going to. It cost me a couple of gold, but I'm in good shape, so I'm not worried about it yet. Let's apply expeditious. Give him a dagger. We'll rush the quest 2 steps. Let's apply fortuitous. Well, let's apply this level 3. We want to get him leveled up. We're going to give him a dagger. We've got a ways to go yet on power. We're going to have to give somebody an iron weapon for sure. Let's apply stoic. Might as well get rid of the dagger, copper. So now we need power 3. And we've got fortuitous, that'll provide gold, and bravura, which will provide extra points. So it's time to start using our iron weapons. So let's apply fortuitous. Don't I have a cheaper iron weapon? Oh, I don't. I only have an iron sword. Should have considered buying a cheaper iron weapon. Well, it just means the bravura will give us a couple extra points for it. So let's give him an iron sword. We've met the requirements of the quest. I'm going to add bravura and give him an iron sword. So this is costing me 2 iron in order to gain 5 extra points. Yeah, what the heck. Let's move on. And this way we're going to have an extra champion. So going in with a bonus tile is going to produce nicely for us. So going into stage 3, round 1, this quest completes. We've got one more level up. And this is where it'd be nice to know what's coming down the road. Ambitious doesn't help us if we use expeditious. Barbaric, the champion can equip an additional weapon with a. So this champion can wield 2 weapons. Well, I'm not short of adventurers. This fellow gets a mace type regardless of his weapon. Don't need that. I think I'm gonna just skip down here. This can get me extra points. This can allow me to scavenge the discard pile and buy something there that I might have missed because of my limited choices in the market phase. I kind of like that, although getting valorous and getting an extra 4 points every time I complete a quest. I've got 6 more rounds to go. That's 24 points. It would give me a high score. I promised I said I wasn't shooting for a high score. I'm gonna. I'm not. I said I wasn't going to shoot for a high score. I'm going to go with scavenging. That'll gives me the ability to go and dig into the discard deck and buy something from there, assuming I have sufficient gold. And I think I'm going to be good on gold now for the rest of the game. So I'm going to go with scavenging. And let's see here. Larry successfully completed the quest Mine Saboteurs and has earned the following rewards. I get to move one of my overseers in the mine, resolving it as usual. So let's jump over to the mine. And I think this was the move. It's the only good move I have to go from there to there. It'll get me an iron and a ruby. And a strike. And I have confused it to a certain extent because it's jumped into stage 3, round 1. But let's continue reading the message. So move one of your overseers in the mine. I got my 3 gold for fortuitous. I got my 5 extra points from bravura. My last adventure leveled up. I now have 7 champions. And I resolve the bonus tile. For every champion I have 7 of them, I receive I immediately spend 3 gold buying resources from the merchant. So I can go to the merchant and spend 21 gold. Wow. In resources. Let's do that now. Let's go to the merchant. I have 21 for every level 4 champion, and I have 7 of them. I get to spend 3 gold. That's 21 gold. Wow. Okay. I got to keep tally here. What do I want to buy? I do seem to use a lot of copper. Um, boy, oh boy. And it's cheap. Let's stock up on copper. So that's I gotta get to 21. So that's 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14. I'm thinking, do I want to get something else? Well, let's go to 16. I've got 5 left to spend. I could get a copper and an iron, or I can get a mithril. But there's so much mithril on the board now, I think I'm going to be flowing in mithril soon enough. I'm stocking up on copper. It might not be smart, but, well, what was I at here? I was at 16. So that takes me to 18. If I take another copper, I'm going to waste 1. So let's use the remaining 3 to take an iron. Okay. All right. We're at stage 3, round 1. A new mine appears, and now you can see we're full of mithril, a little less iron, a little less copper. Some diamond has shown up, and some rare emeralds. Emeralds do seem to be pretty rare, and a couple of rubies as well. Rubies and emeralds are pretty rare, as are diamonds. So the gems generally are pretty rare. Having a diamond against the edge of the board doesn't help. That's going to be tough to make use of. Somebody might get use of it once, but I'm not sure about that. Anyway, I think it's time to stock up on mithril. So I am going to, let's see, do I have any mithril? I think I want to do 3 in a row here. So if I put yellow here, gray here, and blue here. That's a way to grab 3 mithril. No, I can do it here, although I hate to be stuck against the edge of the board. Although getting some diamond and ruby wouldn't be terrible either. Let's put yellow here, gray here, and blue here. And just so I get used to this diamond and before anybody else does, let's put yellow here, gray here, and blue here. Okay. So now it's yellow's turn. Now the question is, which resources do I want the most? This pays a diamond, a mithril, and an iron, a diamond and a ruby and an iron, and 3 mithril. Let me peek in the market for a second. There's the mithril greatsword. I haven't bought it yet, but I think I want to get it. It's an 8-power weapon. And these red quests are starting to show up, and these are tougher. Boy, as nice as it might be to grab some of these gems, I think I'm going to go and stock up on mithril. So let's move yellow here. Let's move gray here. And I will grab 3 mithril. And let's look ahead and see, and this is the quest I have my eye on. The mountain comes alive. We are beset on all sides by evil, bent on destroying this kingdom, and now even the very mountains are rising up to crush us. We have no advice on how to battle an advancing mountain, but hopefully if you hit it enough times, it will stop moving. Okay, so we have a 12-power quest that pays 2 mithril, 3 gold, and 19 points. That's nothing to scoff at. I think that's what we're going to be shooting for. And we have a lot of champions to send into battle. Okay, we have a market stall that converts diamond into mithril, and one that converts ruby into iron, which I already have. And we have a mithril surplus that provides us with 2 more mithril. Wow. If I'm going to be buying these mithril weapons, well, I can only buy one now, but I can buy another one next round. We're going to need to have as much mithril in our supply as possible. So I'm going to go this way. I'm going to grab the mithril surplus for 5 gold. And now I think I will buy the mithril greatsword for 4 gold. Or should I buy a... You know what? Maybe I don't need that much power just yet. I could go with a mithril mace or even a mithril spear. Because with commanding, getting a bump up on every adventurer, this is a much better use of mithril than to be spending 2 or 3 mithril. And this would also give me a spear in case I ever need one. So I'm going to buy a mithril spear. Add that to my list of weapon designs. And we are grabbing the Mountain Comes Alive. Now this says we need a mace, which I may or may not apply. Let's see how it goes. So let's start by applying commanding. Give him. We're going to use the. Or should I just stock up and get the points now? Well, it doesn't matter whether I use the copper now or use the copper later. Let's get a copper mace. Supply the mace requirement. Then let's add expeditious. And it would have been nice to have a cheap iron weapon. Let's start using these mithril spears. So I'll use a mithril spear. That provides 4 power. That's 3 power for the spear plus 1 for commanding. Let's apply fortuitous. Never have enough gold. Let's give him... Well, let's alternate. Let's give him a copper dagger. We have to rush the quest for expeditious to the 3rd step. Okay, we need 4 more power. Let's apply stoic without a weapon. That gets us to 11. Let's apply bravura for the points. And give him do we really want to spend all that iron just for points? No, this is a better use of let's go with the mithril route. So let's do a mithril spear for power 3. Now we're at excess of 3 points, and I can throw in scavenging to see if there's anything in the discard deck that looks enticing to get. Do I want to do that? It's going to cost... Yeah, I can just give him a dagger for a cost of 1 copper. That's not a bad deal. Okay, so now we're going to get it. We're in we have excess of 5 points. We're going to get an excess of 5 power. We're going to get another 5 points for bravura. So I may end up with a high score without working too hard at it. Let's advance to stage 3, round 2. And I get to look in the scavenging deck, the discard deck for something that might be of interest. Now let's see. Before I do that, well, let's go into the market and see what's coming here. We have a ruby diamond converter, and we have a mithril ruby converter, which I already own. A move overseer and a diamond surplus. I don't really think I need any weapons, so I'm going to skip past the weapons. I don't need adventurer savvies. So the question is, do I want to get another buyer savvy, or I think I may get another seller savvy. Don't I have one of those? No, I don't have any of them. Let's buy a seller savvy so that if I have to sell a resource, I can at least get an extra gold for it. So I'll buy one of those, and I have to pay for it. This doesn't pay for it, so that cost me, sorry, that was 5 gold? Yeah, 5 gold. So it's a cost of 5 gold paid up. All right, we're good as far as the discard deck is concerned, and let's go back to the mine. And we're moving for gray. Okay, gray, and then it's going to be me. You know what? I'm thinking all right. If I go this way, I can get 2 diamond. Of course, it would have been nice to have a diamond converter, but there was a diamond converter in the market. Yes, there is. So that might be what's next to buy. So let me move gray this way, and I will bring blue out this way and grab 2 diamond. And yellow has a choice of 2. We will keep him pinned against the wall and out of the way. Looking ahead, otherworldly visitors. Those pay adventurers. I really don't need adventurers. This pays 1 gold and 24 points and 2 diamonds. Boy, that sounds juicy. A ruby, 2 gold and 11 points, 24 points. Boy, how can I pass that up, huh? Okay, we're going to do Kraken in the harbor when we get there. As if that tyrannical fish weren't bad enough, now our ships are being consumed by a massive tentacled beast. It's going to take a good show of power just to get past the thing's numerous appendages, but your goal is to bring the creature down by directly attacking its monstrous, vicious head. Okay, down here. Oh, my favorite, Ward of Gods. I don't think I can pass up Ward of Gods. Ward of Gods doesn't have any power at all, but what it does is it slashes the difficulty of a quest in half. And as we get into, we have 4 or 5 more rounds remaining here. As we get into the tougher quests, they are going to be really high. They're going to be getting up into the 20, 25, 30 power range. This can come in very handy. I'm not going to pass this up. I'm going to grab Ward of Gods. Unfortunately, there goes all my gold. So see how quickly gold can disappear. I don't think I need it. It would have been nice to get this, but I can always get it using scavenging down the road if I can get my gold back up. Fortunately, this isn't going to pay a lot. This isn't paying a lot of gold. Darn it, maybe I should rethink that. With fortuitous, it'll pay 4 gold. But looking at that gold without I hate to be going into a round without having any gold. 2 2 gold, 2 gold. Although these, it's not like none of these quests pay out a lot of gold. 4 gold, 5 gold. Boy, the trouble is rushing this quest. I lose out on that 5 gold in the first leg. Let's just stick with this because that's of no value to me. So let's we're going to plan on getting that. Let's see. We got a mithril spear. What was that? The one used that uses 1 mithril for a little more power. Maybe I should grab a mithril greatsword in case I need some heavy-duty firepower. Oh, but I would have to sell something in order to buy it. No, let's assume commanding is going to do it for us for the moment. So let's pass and take a gold. Now I could be using charming to get a gold, and I am so low on gold here that it might pay to throw on another adventurer. I think I will do that. I will use charming to get another gold. And that's a mistake. That's a bug in my program that applies a copper mace. It didn't spend any copper, but it filled it with a weapon, so I need to delete this and add it back in again. That's a bug I have not been able to get rid of. Okay, so we have charming applied, and we're going to give him... Unfortunately, I can't put commanding in first. Technically, I think charming has to go in first because I used him to take a gold when I acquired the quest. So we'll outfit him with a copper dagger. I will need a mace and a spear. I probably should have given him a spear, but let's maybe give commanding a... Oh, it's a mithril spear that we have. But we have a copper mace. Let's give him a mace. Let's add expeditious and give him let's just give him a dagger for now. Let's add fortuitous and give him a dagger. I gotta get a spear. Let's add stoic without a weapon. So I've met the requirements of the quest. Let's add... I don't need scavenging because I don't have enough gold to make use of scavenging, but let's add bravura and give him the Oh, I have to rush the quest too for expeditious. So let's give him the spear. Let's rush the quest for expeditious. I am short. I have to add scavenging, even though I'm probably not going to make use of his ability. And it's not a high enough... This 15 power is just not enough to waste Ward of Gods on. I think I will just give him a mithril spear. Or should I give him an iron sword? Uses 2 iron for 3 power versus 1 mithril for 3 power. I think I'll be frugal and use the mithril spear again. So I have exceeded, so I'll get an extra 3 points for this. Let's move on. Two diamonds I got, a gold, 24 points, 3 gold, 3 extra points, and a scavenging ability. I do have 6 gold. I could scavenge. Let's look ahead in the market and just see. Oh, an omni weapon. Oh gosh, I love an omni weapon, but I can't afford it unless I sold a diamond or something. Let's hold off on scavenging. I'm not going to bother. And let's move into the mine phase of round 3 now. Stage 3, round 3, and see. Let's see. I got 2 turns this turn, so let's see what happens. And we also have that bonus coming up, and I've forgotten what it is. For every champion I have, I immediately score 2 points. I'm going to get a high score, I think, this game, even though I haven't tried for it. Okay, so what do I have? I can go back this way and get a mithril and a diamond. He doesn't get me anything, and he doesn't get me anything. Let's do that. Okay, so it's either this guy going this way. If he went that way, or he's going this way, either one of those lets me jump this way and occupy the diamond hex again. I don't think it matters to me which way. If he goes this way, it frees up a possible ruby jump for me as well. Let's go this way and see what develops. Okay, I don't want gray anywhere near this, so I don't know, let's put gray over here. And now I can jump and get a mithril and a diamond, or a iron and a mithril and occupied diamond, or an iron and a ruby and occupied diamond. As much as it'd be nice to get ruby, I don't really need ruby. I don't really need much ruby. It's not like I have weapons that need it. Although, if I have my eye on that Omni weapon, I'll probably need a ruby for that. Yeah, an Omni weapon requires one of everything. This is where market stalls come in really handy. Let's, but I have no emerald. Okay, I have plenty of ruby. And mithril is my basic mineral right now from a lot of my weapons. I don't know, I'm going to go with the iron and mithril. And what do we have coming down? I don't want a 4-step quest. This pays 6 gold and 13 points. This is actually pretty easy as they go. That's the one we saw before. And these are kind of easy ones down here. I think I have my eye on the Swamp of Suffering. Okay. If you were playing for points, this is the quest you might want to go with. But I'm especially not doing that. So I'm going to avoid the big point quests and just keep it easy on myself. Now I want to get this Omni weapon, and I promise that's the last unique weapon I'm going to buy. These are called unique weapons if I haven't already said that, as opposed to public weapon designs, unique weapon designs. Oh, wait a second. Oh, no. I won't get the bonus until the end of this round. Sorry. I need 13. I'm going to need to sell something. Oh, I can't sell enough to get... I'm not going to be able to buy it now. I'm going to have to wait and use scavenging to buy it. I can't afford it. That's too bad. Oh well. All right. We'll have to remember that that's in the discard pile, and I'll come back for it later. Market stall that converts diamond into mithril. That could come in handy. I would have to sell something to buy it, or overseer. Let me look in the mine again. Get a diamond. get an iron. I don't need to spend 4 for a diamond. I don't think that's a particularly good choice. I think diamond mithril. So let's sell something to be able to buy that. I got plenty of iron. Although I would like to buy, I should be buying something that makes use of all that iron. I don't have a good cheap iron weapon. Oh, I don't know. Let's sell one of my irons and grab this market stall. I'm down to 0 gold again. Let us pass and gain a gold from the supply. Let's take the Swamp of Suffering. And should I use Charming for the extra gold? Why not? And I'll probably encounter that bug again. I did. So let's delete and re-add Charming. I wish I could get that bug fixed. Okay. I have no copper. So my best bet might be to do mithril spears. So this is where I really need mithril. Let's add commanding right away and give him a mithril spear. Let's add expeditious and give him a mithril spear. Let's rush the quest 2 steps for expeditious. We're already in excess of where we need to be. I don't have enough gold yet. I could really use gold. I have to add fortuitous because I'm short on gold. And I will give him, let's use some of the iron. Give him an iron sword. Let's add stoic without a weapon. And bravura, just for the points. It'd be silly not to. And give him the cheapest thing I can give him, which would be a mithril spear that uses 1 mithril. Okay, we're going to pull off an extra 13 points from that. Okay, we're moving into stage 3, round 4. I got an emerald, 6 gold, 13 points, 3 gold for fortuitous, 13 points for bravura, and my bonus for my 7 level champions. My 7 level 4 champions, I scored 2 points. That's 14 points. So that's 5, 10, 15, and take away 1 makes 14 points. All right. I'm going to have a high score, and I wasn't even trying. Okay, yellow is moving. Gray has 2 choices, going this way, which doesn't especially help me, or going this way, which does especially help me. Well, not really. I don't think either of these make that much of a difference. Let's have them just get out of the way and go here. And now my move, I can get a diamond and a mithril by going this way. Okay. All right, what do we have up here? The Wrath of the Red Dragon, power 13, 2 steps, 16 gold. Oh, that's delicious. Although I'm at 11 gold, I could potentially have enough now to go digging into the deck I could have used scavenging and gone to get Omni Weapon, although I don't quite need Omni Weapon yet, but I might before the game's over. I think we're going for Wrath of the Red Dragon. 16 gold and 20 points. Although I don't own an axe. I need an axe and a spear. This might be a time to buy an axe. Mithril axe needs 2 mithril. An iron axe is 2 iron. And a copper axe, although I don't have any copper, is 2 copper. That's kind of a waste. Mithril axe. I was just saying that I don't have enough cheap iron weapons. I don't even have it'd be nice to have like an iron spear uses 1 iron. Let's get an iron axe. That way we balance off our iron and our mithril. So I'm going to grab that as my first market choice. My second market choice, let's see what we have here. A trader savvy to use a stall an extra time, or a buyer savvy to buy an extra resource. Or to move an overseer. I'm going to peek in the mine. I don't think there's going to be anything there for me. There really isn't. Use a stall an extra time. Well, that would be 2 trader savvies. Something tells me I probably shouldn't pass that up. Though with 16 gold coming in, just getting a buyer savvy, although these rates are pretty high for buying. Merchant's pretty greedy, and there's no way to buy things at a discount, unfortunately. Well, this is a tough one. I think I'm going to go with the extra trader savvy in case I have a drastic need to shift resources around. So let's go with the trader savvy. I probably shouldn't have gotten anything, but I've got a lot of gold coming in from this quest, so I think I'll be all right. So let's grab that quest. I didn't use charming, but it's only 1 gold, so be it. Let's add commanding. Let's give him an iron axe. Takes care of the axe requirement. Let's apply expeditious. Give him a mithril spear. That takes care of the spear requirement. I'll rush the quest. So now we have 7 of 13. Let's add fortuitous and iron axe for 2, or an iron sword, or a mithril spear. Oh, I hate to eat away at my mithril. Let's use the iron for now. I don't know, my resources are dwindling quickly. Let's go with stoic and not give him a weapon. So now I'm at 14 of 13. With 16 gold coming in, I think I want to have scavenging ready to go, scavenging for that Omni weapon, just to have it on hand in case a super duper weapon comes in. I think I will use a market stall and convert a copper to an iron to a copper, and give him a copper dagger just for having some simple weapon. And I think that should do it. Oh, hate to pass up on bravura. Okay, mithril spear. All right, so that's 7 points for bravura. And I get to scavenge for that Omni weapon, and I've got lots of gold about to pour in, although I'm going to be eating it up really quickly. All right, moving into round 5. 16 gold, 20 points. 3 gold for fortuitous. Scavenging gets a card from the discard deck. And Bravura adds 7 points. And Gray has a lot of choices. Let's go to the market into the discard deck and find the Omni Weapon. I may not need it, but just in case, it costs 13 and provides 14 power and provides all 3 special type weapons, an axe, a spear, and a mace. That's what's especially nice about it. All right, let's buy the Omni Weapon for 13 gold. Okay. Now I'm juiced up. I'm really juiced up over here on my weapons. Okay, let us see. Now we're into purple quests. These are the ones that have really high, they're very short, but they're for the end of the game, and they have high power requirements, but they pour in the points. So this is a 20 power difficulty, paying 31 points, 25 paying 39 points. I think I got my eye on the Storm Knights Challenge. So let's come down here. I don't think I need another buyer savvy. I don't think I need an adventurer savvy. I don't think I need to move a worker. I don't need to hire an adventurer. I don't need a weapon. I think, what the heck? Oh, we're still in the mine. I've gotten ahead of myself. I was just looking ahead. We have to do the mine phase first. One more time. 26 to 35, 31 to 44. Wow, that's a lot of choices. That is nice for me. This is nice for me. I think I may just go with this. Although if yellow comes across, if that blocks yellow, this doesn't block yellow. Though yellow jumping doesn't really help me. And then gray will just jump anyway. Let's do that. I will move this way to get a mithril and a diamond. Close another gate for 20 power and 31. Storm Knights Challenge 25 and 39. So I have my eye on Storm Knights Challenge. What does that pay? It doesn't. None of these pay gold. But I think I'm at a point where buying things with gold doesn't really behoove me. Yeah, I don't think there's anything here that I'm dying to get my hands on. There's no particular weapon that I think I need. I'm a little tight on resources, considering what I need here. But if I use... if I use Ward of Gods, I could probably manage it. Boy, that's gonna. This is where my market stalls are probably gonna come in handy. Let's just take gold. One gold, 2 gold. And let's use Charming to take Storm Knight's Challenge just for the extra gold. I just have a sneaking suspicion it can't hurt right at this point. So let's do that. And once again, I've got to fix that. I gotta remember to fix that. All right, let's delete and re-add. Okay. Not a lot of choices. Let's make this manageable and give him Ward of Gods. That's going to eat up all my mithril and a diamond. But it will... Well, let's see here. Let me think about this. So for 3 mithril and a diamond, I'm basically getting 12 power. If I just used my mithril spear, for 3 mithril I get 9 power. 3 mithril and a diamond, I'm getting 12 power. Is that a good deal? Boy, just the thought of having to get myself up to 25 power, that's a little much. I don't know. I think I'm going to use Ward of Gods. Alright. Now we've got to scrape and scrimp and use market stalls to get what we need. Let's add commanding. It's not pretty. Okay, we have a quest that's at 17. Oh man, because I need an axe and I need a spear. Oh, maybe I shouldn't use Ward of Gods. Maybe I should have used my Omni weapon instead. Boy, Omni weapon was what, 13? 14. Something tells me that makes more sense. Because it at least spreads, it doesn't dig into all my mithril. It just kind of spreads everything out, taking a little of this and a little of that, I'm going to undo. I'm going to take that back and give Charming. I need a copper in order to get Omni weapons. So best way to get copper. Well, I need everything I have practically. I don't want to. I think I'm just going to buy a copper. Now I'm going to apply Omni weapon to Charming. Okay. Now my power is at 25. I don't really need Expeditious because I don't have to. There's no rushing necessary. I just may need him to add. Let's not worry about him for the time being. Let's add commanding. Okay. Well, let's use up our mithril and see how far it takes us. So let's take a mithril spear. We're at 17. We need 8 more. Let's add Fortuitous with another mithril spear. Let's add Stoic without a weapon. We're at 24 of 25. I can convert a ruby into an iron, or a ruby. I think a ruby into a mithril makes more sense. Although a ruby into an emerald and an emerald into 2 copper, just for where I need 1 little power point, that might be a better deal. It's a waste of a ruby, but I think I'm going to go that route. So I'm going to do a ruby into an emerald into 2 coppers, and now we'll add Bravura with a copper dagger. I'm only over by 1, and I'm going to stop there. We only have 1 more round to go, so I just wish I had a heck of a lot more to show for this. That worries me a little bit, but and I'm not even getting gold. I'm going to have to conserve my gold just in case I have to do some buying of resources. Wow, this might get a little tight. I don't know. I got 3 gold for fortuitous. And I get, this is the last round now, and I get 2 moves. I'm going to make these 2 moves count. I can go this way and get 2 iron. I got to really think ahead and think about where everybody else is going to go. After I play, yellow plays. Yellow is not going to go this way. He can't go that way. He can't go that way. He's going to go this way. So yellow's going to eat up this thing right here. I think I want to get myself down here, and I can make that nice jump. Actually, if I put myself down here, then I'll be able to go all the way across and grab 3 mithrils and a copper. That's the way to go, I think. So let's get myself in position for that. I hope this doesn't backfire anyway. Well, I got an iron for that. Really doesn't matter to me what. Well, let's just get him out of the way. Oh, gray went that way. And okay, it doesn't matter to me. Oh wow, that would have been nice too going that way. But let's jump across. I think that's definitely the best bet. Yes, it is. A mithril, a mithril, a mithril, and a copper. Not a bad take. But they all go on strike and disappear. There is a mithril surplus. Boy, I have my eye on that. And this is a 30 power paying 44 points, 18 paying 29. I may have to go easy on myself and go with the Rise of the Skeletal Beast. I think I might be pushing my luck going for this, but we could work it out if we want to. Let's come down here. I want this mithril surplus. I need as much as I can get. So let's grab that. A mithril greatsword costs 3 mithril and has 8 power versus 3 mithril spears has 9 power. So it doesn't pay for me to use the greatsword. All right, so the question is, well, my second choice, I'm going to get a gold. I should say that gold does convert into points at the end of the game. And you also get points for all the market cards and the weapons that you buy. They have point values in the corner. All right, the real question here is, can I possibly manage this? Well, let's think about it. If I use my my Ward of Gods, that will split the power down, split it in half and get it down to 15, and provide all the spear and mace and axe requirement, and it's going to cost me 3 mithril and a diamond. Now I can convert the rest of my diamond into mithril if I'm desperate for mithril. I think I can manage this. If I get it down to 15, with commanding, I should be able to squeak by. I don't need expeditious right away. Should I even bother using charming for the extra gold at this point? I don't. What do I get? An extra point for every 4 gold. If I get 3 from fortuitous to take me to 10, 1 extra gold to take me to 11 doesn't really pay. So let's not bother with charming. Let's just grab this. I think I'm going to be able to squeak by. It might be tight, but let's be daring. Let's be daring. Let's finish off in style. Okay, let's start with commanding. Let's give him Ward of Gods. Okay, let's now Omni Weapon needs, I'm going to need an emerald and a ruby. But Omni Weapon is going to be the way to go here. Let's I want to do this. A diamond and a mithril. I need an emerald and a ruby. I can convert an iron into a ruby, but I'm going to probably need an iron. Let's do a mithril into ruby. No, but ruby converts into emerald. All right, let's convert a mithril into a ruby. Now we need an emerald. Let's convert a diamond. A diamond produces 2 mithril. Oh, we got an emerald. I got to convert a ruby. So let's convert a mithril into a ruby again. Although, yeah, a mithril into a ruby. I'm going to use my one of my 2 trader savvies to do this again. So let's take a mithril and get a ruby. That was 1-to-1, I think, right? Yes. And now I can convert a ruby into an emerald. That should cover me for Omni Weapon. Let's see where that puts us. So let's throw in Fortuitous. Give him Omni Weapon. That meets the requirements of the quest because that's 15 with commanding, and Ward of God splits the power requirement down from 30 to 15. So now I've made it. Now everything is gravy. So Stoic, throw in Bravura for the points. I think I get a better return on Bravura than I do on minerals. I don't know. It's hard to say. Let's just use them up. I don't know. I might be giving up a few points here. It's hard to say. Expeditious. Throwing a copper dagger. And what the heck? Throw in charming and scavenging. And I would have to convert something here. So let's... I have another trader savvy. I've only used one of my trader savvy. Let's convert a diamond into 2 mithril. And now give him a mithril spear. Now we're at 28 over 15. I'm just going to throw in charming and give him another mithril spear. And I think that, no, what will happen here is the diamond's going to sell to the merchant at the end of the game, and it's going to produce at non-seller savvy prices, so it's going to sell for 4 gold, giving me 11 gold, and that'll produce 2 points. I don't think there's any real benefit to going any further. Let's just end the game. Here we go. I think I've really got one of the highest scores I've ever gotten. Wow. And I wasn't even, wow, look at that. My last previous high score was 335. So wow. I'm going to leave myself a message. I couldn't be happier. But remember to fix the charming bug. Okay. Well, there you go. That gives you an idea. And just so you could see, I got, of all my points, 329 were from quests, 35 were from my adventurers. I get 5 points for every one of these champions. That's 5 times 7 for 35 points. I earned 23 points for all my weapon design cards. Every one of these, at least the more powerful ones, have point values in the top right corner. That give me a few points, and my market cards produce 32 points. So, and earned 3 points for gold. So my 14 gold divided by 4 produced an extra 3 points. So 422, I actually can't be happier. I accomplished a lot. I got a really high score, much higher than I ever anticipated. I demonstrated this game to those of you who might be interested, and I got to tell you, and I wasn't even trying here, and I had a good time. So I think buying this game is a no-brainer. It plays great solo. It plays great multiplayer. It's just a thoughtful puzzler. And once again, kudos to Isaac Childres, who I also have to say is so present on the forum. If you have a question, he's there to answer it within a couple hours. So just for that reason alone, buy this game. It is superb. Goodbye. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you stuck with it. Bye-bye for now.